The college basketball experience off-season check-in, coaching news, and scheduling news episode on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network, brought to you by Circa Sports. Yes, Circa Sports is back with their Circa Survivor and Circa Millions contest. $14 million are up for grabs. Get all the details at circasports.com. And remember, as always, folks, too, let it ride.
Hey, this is Derek Stevens. I'm the owner of Circa Las Vegas. You're listening to SGPN. Let it ride.
Yes, yes, yes. Woo! Welcome to the college basketball experience. Whoa! July episodes flying in hot. It's been a little bit too long. You know, I was traveling down to South America. I've been bouncing around. And look, it's always college basketball season on the college basketball experience. Subscribe, tell a friend, and hopefully you're watching this on YouTube, youtube.com/the college experience. And perhaps you're wondering just who the hell you're listening to. My name is Colby Swinging Database Dan, aka Pick Dundee. That's not a pick. This is a pick.
He was raised in the land down under, where a man thinks on his feet, speaks with his fists, and lives by his wits.
When Dundee happened, he was a superstar.
I'm probably drinking too much and celebrating too much and not sleeping. Would have killed a normal man, but no, that's gone. The medical advice I got from that was like being hit by lightning. Pretend it never happened and get on with your life.
And you're nothing but a chameleon, lemon-headed, coward, terrorist pussy. And I'm after you, buddy. You're going to pay for it. Good night.
Yes. The world is changing. Players are changing left and right. Figure we talk a little portal. Figure we talk some coaching news. Shout out to the chat. Kenneth, Troy, we're already rolling. Get ready for the season, folks. It's coming. All right, it is fucking coming. We're going to preview all the conferences. We're going to go deep, all right, because we don't snorkel here, all right? I am joined by my co-host. I feel like I fucking haven't even seen this guy in forever. He's just sitting over there enjoying life over there in Virginia. Give it up for former assistant to one Frank Martin and Bob Huggins. Give it up for Moneyline Mac, aka Ryan McIntyre. How you doing, brother?
What is going on, Pick Dundee? Yeah, we are 16 weeks away from college basketball. Portal still going on, just like last time we left off.
Oh, I mean,
this fucking thing.
Dude, I loaded up the portal for this episode because I've been grinding out on college football episodes. Go listen to the college football experience and the FCS college football experience. I host both of those. And I know you dropped your Big 12. Folks, first right now, timeout. Get on over there. Subscribe to the Big 12 experience. Obviously, Big 12 Media Day is going on with college football, and Moneyline Mac is hosting that. That's his own podcast. Go check it out. And it's not only football. It's going to be basketball. It's going to be some baseball when college baseball comes around. It's just all Big 12 everything. So subscribe over there. How's life in the Big 12 going, by the way?
I've made a case, I think, for every single team that they could win in football. And I'll do the same in basketball because it's the best basketball league in America. I know everybody hears me say it for 6 straight months. Top to bottom, it's the best football league, too, in terms of top to bottom. So, yeah, no, we're having fun over there. Check us out. It's going to be a fun year with me, Rambling Rush, and the Big 12 guru, Troy Tuning.
Yeah, and I'm not doing this to just be a company guy and just go with the Big 12 here. I am by far the most excited to watch that conference in football than any other conference, because trying to go through and forecast, like you said, you got every team winning it. Yeah, I mean, each day I'm like, well, you know what, Kansas could win it this year. And then I'm like, well, you know, Oklahoma's in a lot of one-score games. They could win it this year. And then I'm like, well, Texas Tech emerged. Their defensive line played great. They could win it this year. So super excited for the new Big 12. Even the newcomers, newcomers could win it. But look, folks, we got to talk a lot of college hoops, and shout out to the whole chat. I know we're rocking here. Ryan. Well, look, before we get into it, let me tell folks out there that the college basketball experience is brought to you by Circa Sports. Yes, Circa Millions and Circa Survivor are back, and $14 million in guaranteed prizes are up for grabs. Circa Survivor is just pick a different moneyline winner each and every week. You can't pick the same team twice. There's some strategy there. Circa Millions is 5 NFL picks ATS each week. You can enter in Vegas, but play from anywhere. Sports Gambling Podcast crew will be out there the last weekend in August. So if you're out there, hit us up. Circasports.com for all the details. Once again, that is circasports.com. What would you do with $14 million, people? Huh? Circasports.com. Check it out. All right. We are back on the college basketball experience. And, buddy, I know this ain't fun for you. All right. It ain't fun for you, but, your former employer is Bob Huggins, one of them. Mm-hmm. It's only fair to the audience if we address the elephant in the room, man. Look, I grew up a Huggins guy. I mean, I was never employed by him, but I did enjoy the Cincinnati teams. And then I shifted into the Kansas State era and the West Virginia era, and I really enjoyed it. It's probably the biggest college basketball story going this offseason is what seems to be it's kind of a self-inflicted just explosion by a legendary Hall of Fame coach. I gotta ask your take on the whole scenario. Obviously, I'm shocked that it's come to a halt like this. And then so you had the incident on the radio, then that. He's like, okay, he got through that one. And I think they redid his contract or something. And then you had, obviously he caught a pretty bad DUI as far as flat tire, and then, blew a ridiculous level and didn't know what state he was in, which, look, he's 70 years old, people. I don't want to make excuses. In my opinion, you should be fired for something like that. But he is from a different world where like they did drive a lot more frequently. You go back to like the 1970s, that was like a common thing. Oh no, he's just been at the bar all day. But at the same time, like you got to fire. There's no way you can't after a scenario like that, in my opinion. But now, he's suing the university after he had. His alma mater, might I add. What do you make of all this, man? We got to ask you.
Yeah. No, I've been thinking about what I've wanted to say. I was on Hoops Peterson, and I'm not going to lie. It's uncomfortable to talk about it. It's sad. It sucks. I talked to Huggs, I think a couple weeks ago right between him getting fired and the recent stuff where he's suing the university. I mean, I don't think he really thinks he's going to be the head basketball coach again. I think that kind of got twisted, but yeah, I mean, I still don't agree with the way he's going about it, but I mean, it is what it is. And it's just sad, man. Honestly, I think he did so much good for West Virginia University. Like you said, he played there, he coached there, went to Final Four, multiple Sweet 16s, and basically 60 days of just self-sabotaging has almost killed 16 years of a great run, unfortunately.
Yeah. And like, I don't know where he's getting the legal advice right now. I know he's got like a team of lawyers, from what I understand, like a strong amount of lawyers. He's suing university, saying his wife sent the text.
And he does not use email. I should add that.
Yeah, he says that he doesn't use email. Yeah. It reminds me of the old Coastal Carolina football coach who didn't use email. And here's my thing, man, is he comes in, talks to the team, right? And then he empties out his office. So isn't it implied?
I think it's a money thing, and the lawyers are being lawyers, basically. That's the way I'm reading it. But I also just don't think whoever's in his ear has his best interest. I think it's just trying to make the most amount of money. Like this, it's making him look bad.
Yeah, it's making him look really bad. And to me, like if I'm him, I would say, maybe back off of that because this guy's not that far away from being the all-time leading wins leader. If he wanted to pick up a job, like we've seen Tarkanian at Fresno State or Patino at Iona, he could be able to do that. But I don't know that anyone's going to want to touch that with a 10-foot pole right now. And I don't know that he'll ever get that opportunity because of it. I don't know, man. It's a really tough scenario. I know you worked for him, but I've never seen a self-inflicted blow up like this at this point in someone's career that I can ever recall. And maybe he's got issues with abuse. I'm not sure. Maybe he can fix that. I don't know, but have you ever seen anything like this? I know it's especially tough for you because it's someone that you know and you care about. But in general, I can't recall a legendary coach going out like this, man, and it's sad. And I just don't know. So in a statement, he was mad that the university did not go with who he suggested as assistant coach. Or as interim head coach. I'm sorry. Why is he burying one of his own guys in a way?
See, I was confused by that because that was his pick. So I don't know why he said that just recently, because from what I was told, he wanted Josh to get the job. And that's who I wanted to get the job. I feel like I was the only guy pushing for Josh Eilert to be head coach. I think he's more than qualified in a chaotic situation that he's going to take over for the next 10 months, even keel guy that can stabilize the program a little bit. I didn't understand that either. I don't know really like I said, I talked to Hugs a couple weeks ago and he seemed at peace at the time, but obviously I don't know. Him and the president, kind of like at Cincinnati at the end, aren't on the best of terms, maybe, and maybe it's a power play. Because I don't think Hugs, knowing what I know about Hugs and the people I talk about, A, I don't think he's done coaching, or he doesn't want to be done coaching, and B, he's just not going to go settle off on a pond somewhere or on a lake somewhere and just go fishing every day.
But that's why
busy. Yeah.
But that's why it's essential that he go out quietly. Like this thing,
agreed. Yes.
It keeps getting worse and worse, and I can't even see a college taking a chance right now on him. So I don't know, man. And so West Virginia, obviously, they have a new athletic director, relatively new, past like 6 months, I feel like, right? Something like that.
Ren Baker.
So maybe there's some discomfort there. Maybe the school president, I know their NIL collective is very good though, but now you have this clause, the college basketball is the portal still was open. So now you're trying to save everybody. You're trying to save your season, your roster. As you saw, I actually want you to update me on this. So Joe Toussaint's gone. He's at Texas Tech, correct?
Yes.
They were able to talk Jesse Edwards into being, retaining him. Remember, he was transferring in from Syracuse. Kirk Carisha?
He's back.
The same? Okay. Yep.
And Raekwon Battle's back.
And I know. Dub V just landed a Florida State transfer in Jeremiah Brembley. That was a nice get, but did they lose anyone else besides Toussaint?
They lost Trey Mitchell to Kentucky. I actually just got done watching him and Jose Perez went in the portal for about the 69th time in his college career.
Even though he never played a game at Dub V, but
everybody's like, "What do you think?" I go, "I don't fucking know. He never played a game. He played as many minutes as me." Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Okay, so that situation's going on, and how do you think they'll be able to salvage this season and still be, perhaps an NCAA tournament team, or is this the roster's kind of depleted with Toussaint and Mitchell out? They probably will be, basically kind of, you see this currently with Northwestern stuff. You're kind of like punting on the season. Do you think this is a scenario like that? I actually think they could salvage this thing. I think we just saw Quinerly. The guy from Central Florida recently that just committed to Texas. He was at Pitt. He got arrested at Pitt. I'm drawing a blank. Horton. And I think there's going to be more names that are going to hit the portal between now and August 28th. I mean, when I saw that August 28th was the deadline for grad transfers, I was like, oh my God, we still have 8 weeks of this shit. So
yeah.
I mean, they were able to keep their top 3 guys that they wanted: Krisha from Arizona, Edwards from Syracuse, and Battle from Montana State. And then they've had a couple guys that are going to be role guys that have been in the program for 2-3 years that are coming back. They got 9 guys. If they can add another piece or two, I think, kind of like last year, I think they'll be right on that bubble.
It's going to be an exciting time still, I guess. You know, your collective is fantastic. I was just reading an article that they're like one of the best NIL collectives in all of college sports. So it gives you hope too. I know it's critical. It's a critical year because you have an interim head coach in basketball and then Neil Brown on the hot seat in football. So maybe, maybe you can have a great year. I don't know. Maybe they can salvage, both jobs.
I can tell you that the Ryan and Rush show has got plenty of traffic the last couple months in West Virginia sports.
Oh, I bet.
West Virginia has not been under the radar at all in the last couple months.
I know this is not the place for this because we're talking college basketball, but I do want to discuss the possibility of a reunion with Rich Rodriguez. If Neil Brown has a bad season, I think Jacksonville State might be pretty decent. So there's a chance. I wonder how the WV fans will feel about that. But let's continue on the basketball front because Will Wade. By the way, the NCAA is a fucking joke. All right, because they basically deemed that Will Wade, they couldn't prove that he was exactly talking about money, even though there's a Yahoo report, there's a FBI wiretap, and there's Christian Dawkins on an HBO documentary basically saying that he was referring to money. But so he gets a 2-year show clause, and he is suspended. He's now the head coach, folks. If you don't know, he's now the head coach at McNeese State. So 2-year show clause and suspended the first 10 games of the season. They let LSU off, just like if you watch the Tennessee football situation today, they let them off. The NCAA basically saying, go do whatever. There's no rules. What do you make of the Will Wade scenario? And I guess if you're McNeese, you're fucking thrilled, right?
Well, and they've done very well in the portal. They got like 4 or 5 high major transfers that are down there in McNeese State. So I'm interested to see what kind of year that McNeese State. Yeah, 10 games, but that's all bye games, and you're going to lose those anyway. Getting back for Southland play, honestly, like not to go back to Hugs. Hugs just needs to do a certain similar situation like with Will Wade and Rick Pitino, where you just kind of lay low for a little bit, and then you can pop in one of these MAC jobs or something, or Horizon jobs.
Yeah. No, I mean, he kind of dodged all the bullets. I mean, 10 game suspension, who cares, right?
Yeah.
I mean, McNeese is going to be on the road all those 10 games anyway. They're going to lose. Joe Dumars' alma mater's back, baby.
Bill Self gets that every other year.
Yeah, that's the next case, and they're going to completely ignore that. Look, I mean, come on. Mark Adams, former Texas Tech head coach and Chris Beard assistant, was hired by Michael. May the Schwartz be with you, and tell me why this hire is amazing.
I think it's pretty easy. I mean, you got arguably one of the best defensive coordinators, as they call it in college basketball, coming over for year number 2 of the Schwartz era. I like ECU, and I'm not just saying this because you're on the show and you're an ECU grad, but ECU was finished 150th in defense last year. I guarantee you're in the top 50 next year, because every year Texas Tech, they were top 10 defense, and you're losing the top 3, top 4 teams in your league. ECU's on the rise, my friend.
Oh, I mean, yeah, that's what I'm saying. The brand new AAC. I know we got Florida Atlantic in that thing, who's fresh off a Final Four appearance, but other than that, I know you look around and you say, okay, well, no more Kelvin Sampson. You still got Penny Hardaway in Memphis. Okay. So those two are going to be probably the odds on favorites. But after that, you're sitting there saying, I know Ron Hunter keeps a decent program. SMU should be a little bit better, but we're in the thick of this. I think we're in the thick of this here. I know you got Wichita, maybe they rebound, but I'm excited. North Texas, obviously, coaching change. So you got to feel like ECU has a little bit of a leg up on North Texas because of the continuity. I love this edition of Mark Adams. So there's that. And then I'm curious your take on this one. Ron Sanchez was was like a couple months ago, the head coach of the Charlotte 49ers, who are going to be in the AAC with ECU. Mm-hmm. He is formerly an assistant of Virginia. What Tony Bennett hires him to be an assistant back at Virginia, he leaves the head coaching position. The first thing I thought when I saw this was I wouldn't be surprised if Tony Bennett retires soon, because why go back there if you took the head coaching position at Charlotte unless you were promised to be the next head coach?
Yeah, I like that angle too. I also think maybe Charlotte's not investing as much as he wants them to, headed into another step from the Conference USA to AAC, and he's going to be in year number 6. He may just want to reset, get back with Tony Bennett, and maybe make himself more marketable to get a head job.
But couldn't he just do that next year if he gets fired?
He could, or like you said, Bennett could be on the way out, kind of like Jay Wright was with Kyle Neptune, and then Neptune slid in, maybe Sanchez slides in.
Well, that's the only thing that makes sense with me, because look, let's say he's on the hot seat at Charlotte, which I think some people would say he would have been. Well, let's say he stays there for one more year and they make the NCAA tournament, or they don't and he gets fired. I still think Tony Bennett would say, hey, we have a spot on the staff for you.
Yeah.
Instead, to come in this year and to basically say that, I don't know, man, it just reeks. And I could just see Tony Bennett, the transfer portal era. You've seen Jay Wright leave. You've seen a lot of legendary coaches basically say, this is too fucking much for me. I'm out. That's what I read from that.
Yeah, I don't disagree. And Tony Bennett, they don't really use the portal as much, and they've lost some guys recently. So I could definitely see him doing what Jay Wright did. Both kind of similar with the way they approach life in the game. Nice guys, well respected. I could see Tony Bennett on TV in the next couple of years. He's not that old. Yeah,
I think he's in his mid 50s, maybe.
Yeah,
early 50s, something like that.
He's already won a national championship, avenged UMBC loss.
Yeah. Man, so look, by the way, and if you are a Charlotte 49er fan, they basically named their interim head coach Aaron Fernie, I think it is.
Yeah.
He's from Australia. He coached in Australia. He's their interim head coach, and they're just going to roll with him. So that'll be interesting to see how the Clits do in year 1 of the AAC with a brand new head coach. More coaching news. 82 years young, Larry Brown, hired as a special assistant to Mike Hopkins, who I don't know if Mike Hopkins has photos of the school president of Washington doing something they shouldn't have been doing, but he's still in Seattle. I know they just brought in the guard from Rutgers. I'm drawing a blank on his name right now, but I was a bit surprised to see them say, hey, special assistant Larry Brown, 82 years young, hired by the Washington Huskies. Your take, good sir?
I think Mike Hopkins might get fired if they don't start fast, and Larry Brown might be head coach. That's
he's 82.
I know. I could see him being the interim. 10 games in, they have a bad. I got to look up what their schedule is, and Larry Brown slides right in. It's kind of what happened with the SMU. It kind of just came out of nowhere. I mean, where was he last year? Memphis?
dude. This cannot be. Cause look, I was thinking about this. Okay. You had Paterno in football, but obviously that ended in a disaster. I can't recall a coach coaching into their 80s in football or basketball besides Paterno. Can you?
What did Coach K finish? 78?
I think it was like 76, 77, something like that. And then
he looked like he was 90.
yeah. So I mean, I don't know. There's no way. I'm just shocked by that headline. I'm like, I had to go to Wikipedia Larry Brown to find out his age because I was like, this guy's they're gonna hire next. They're gonna hire Pistol Pete Maravich.
He was drafted in the 7th round in 1963. 1963. It's 2023 now.
That's the year JFK got shot, folks. That's the coaching news. I wanted to key in on Lemoyne University, brand new to D1 basketball. We're gonna be talking Lemoyne hoops. They are gonna be they're in the NEC. Remember St. Francis Brooklyn just decided to just get rid of athletics. What a bunch of idiots they are. And yeah. And now Lemoyne is going to open up their first game ever. Is on November 7th against Ed Cooley. First game of the Ed Cooley era against Lemoyne. Please, Lemoyne. No, I'm joking.
Money line.
Yeah. Let's talk a little bit before we get out of here about the portal, but and some schedule notes. But before I do that, I want to tell you that the college basketball experience is brought to you by Underdog Fantasy. Best Ball Mania is here, and Underdog Fantasy is giving away $15 million in prizes. And look, Underdog Pick'em is a great way to get down on your favorite MLB and NFL season player props. There's so many ways to win over on Underdog, and Underdog's available in so many different states. Head on over to UnderdogFantasy.com. Use that promo code SGPN for 100% deposit bonus up to $100. Once again, that's UnderdogFantasy.com. Promo code SGPN. All right, we are back on the college basketball experience, and man, you go through this portal, and I mean, I guess I was in South America for a month, so maybe I wasn't getting the news. I knew like a lot of the big names, but going through the top guys, I think we should address this. So I'm looking right now at the top guys in the portal. We talked about Hunter Dickinson to Kansas already. I think it instantly makes Kansas a national championship contender. Not that they really weren't prior, but this is now kind of. But we recently saw Grant Nelson, who was a stud in the Summit League, land with the Alabama Crimson Tide. Now, were you surprised? I was a bit surprised at that. Were you surprised at that?
Yeah, I thought he was going to go to Arkansas. He kind of felt like a Musselman guy, interested to see if he can improve from outside on the perimeter, if he can make some shots, because Nate Oates is going to spread it out and shoot all those threes. So he could be a really good 4-man fit for the Tide, because Nate Oates likes to play fast and entertaining.
Yeah, and look, they've gone out. They're pretty active in the portal. They brought in what? They brought in a guy. What's it? Muhammad Wagyu from Dub V, right?
Yeah, Waggy. That was one of our
Waggy.
Losses. Yeah.
But then they went out and got Aaron Estrada, who I know from Chips. No, I'm joking. From Hofstra. This guy's a stud. And then they brought in also Cal State Fullerton guard Latrell Wrightsell. Do we expect Bama and Nate Oates to just be rebounding and being back in the mix for an SEC championship?
I think so. I think that they're pretty much portal proof with Nate Oates. I know they lost Brandon Miller, wrong place, wrong time, but he's the number 2 pick in the draft. That's going to be a tough piece to replace. But I definitely think this is a top 4, top 5 team in the SEC. The SEC is going to be a fun basketball league next year.
It really is. It really is. And obviously Arkansas Musselman, that's how he makes his money. I feel like it's just killing it in the transfer portal. We should probably talk a little bit about Eric Musselman, because for years that's been his calling card is just attack the trend. Even when he was at Nevada, they went out and got Khalif Battle, who I was really high on, from Temple. They also got Kenyon Menefield from Washington. L. Ellis from Louisville, I believe.
Yeah.
Tremont Mark from Houston. Jeremiah Davenport from Cincinnati. And Chandler Lawson from Memphis. Whew. I mean, the question is can they gel together? Because when they really loaded up on talent yet again, they should be in the mix for an SEC championship, correct?
Yeah, from that he's got to play small, you would think, because you named all guards. I mean, they're all guards that you named. Mark, Battle, Menfield, Ellis, Davenport. I mean,
he likes doing that though.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like that's a common thing that he's done in years previously. I know we just talked. Well, let's talk. Right across that state line over the Mississippi River is the Memphis Tigers. They lost Chandler Lawson to Arkansas, but we were previously before Arkansas, we were talking about Alabama. They just landed Jahvon Quinerly. Oh man, it was his third stop, I believe. They went out and got Jordan Brown, who was a beast from Louisiana, the Raging Cajuns. Now they add Jahvon Quinerly. They also got David Jones from St. John's. And I think they got a couple other guys too. Jonathan Lawson from Creighton. No. He left for Creighton. But they were very active in the portal. I know that. Should we start talking about how Memphis? Oh, I know who it was. Caleb Mills. It's Caleb Mills before. Yeah. This team could be loaded all of a sudden. Then the Quinerly news, I think, was 24 hours ago. So now you look at this roster and you say Penny Hardaway. I mean, this potentially could be a top 10, top 15 team. I think. What do you make of what's going on with Penny? And I guess, can they live up to the hype?
That seems to be the question every year. And I think people forget FAU was down 8 with 5 minutes to go before they rallied. That could have been Memphis in the Final Four. I know you had Memphis and I had FAU. So but the whole time leading up, we're like, whoever wins that game, I like them to get by Purdue. We thought Purdue would at least get by Fair Dick, but that's a whole different story. But hey, a side note on Memphis, Penny Hardaway suspended for the first 3 games, and you know who's coaching the team?
Who's that?
Slick Rick Stansberry is on staff at Memphis, and
man.
So all of a sudden they're dropping the bag and getting the portal guys. So yeah,
I love it. I mean, they played Jackson State to open the season, so they should be fine there. But I thought those portal gets stood out. There's some other. I mean, just going through the top 10. I mean, not even the top 10. Just going to 24/7 Sports top guys. Jameer Nelson Jr. is another one I don't know that we touched on much. He lands at TCU. I think that was a great get for the Horned Frogs. What'd you make of that one?
I think TCU might have had the most underrated portal because they got Uday from Kansas, the big. They got Avery Anderson from Oklahoma State. Here we go again with Big 12 guys going to other Big 12 schools. So I expect TCU, and they got a bunch of guys back. So TCU will be right in the mix in the best league again in America. Yeah,
and then Caleb Love. Was that Michigan? Maybe he just wanted to scout out Noah Beanick. I don't know, but he goes to Ann Arbor for a week. Yeah, they didn't let him in the school. Now he's in Arizona. I mean, if you're an Arizona fan, you're thrilled. But what the hell's going on with Michigan? Let your players in. Do you want to win games, Michigan? You can't fire Juwan Howard. He has the perfect excuse. Hey, you never let in any players that I want. We wanted Terrence Shannon Jr. the year before. Didn't happen. Caleb Love now. Didn't happen. What do you make of what's going on in Ann Arbor, and how do you think Caleb Love will fit with the Wildcats?
I think Caleb Love's the biggest winner out of this. I think he actually might be a pretty good fit in Arizona, where they kind of just run and gun, and it's an entertaining brand of basketball. And you're going to pair him in the backcourt with Jaden Bradley as well, coming over from Alabama. Keyshawn Johnson as well from San Diego State. Arizona is going to be right there to win the Pac-12. I know everybody's going to be on USC because of Bronny James and the older guys they have, but I still will lean to Arizona as the favorite in the Pac-12.
Okay, and then we should talk about Kyle Neptune, rough first year in Philly with Villanova, but man, they got Tyler Burton from the Richmond Spiders to transfer in as a grad transfer, and they didn't traditionally use the portal that much back in and then they got TJ Bamba from Washington State, and Hakeem Hart from Maryland. Is Villanova perhaps? I know UConn's loaded again, but it seems like this might be a different Villanova team that we're going to see heading into Kyle Neptune's second year. What do you make of the Wildcats?
Yeah, you mentioned it with their portal class, and they got some of their guys back as well. I mean, they got Dixon back in the post. I think Villanova's right back there to being a top 4, top 5 team in the Big East, even though the Big East, man, is going to be a juggernaut once again. Another fun league, man. I can't wait for the season.
Yeah, I cannot wait for the season too. All right, look, before we get out of here, because I think Neptune year 2 is going to be I think they're going to be one of the must-watch teams. The Villanova Wildcats, and don't forget we got Slick Rick Pitino in the Big East now. All right, and you got the Cooley situation going on in DC with the Hoyas. It's got to be must-watch, folks. And remember, during the college basketball season, we're here each and every night of the college basketball season. We've been doing this shit for years, but we're gonna have a bunch of conference preview shows dropping in the next coming months as we get ready for November 6th. Speaking of November 6th, it's funny. I mean, and I haven't even done all my homework on this. I'm constantly trying to fill out the games, to make sure I got my schedule aligned, because it's hard to get intel on the the first games of the season, because the schedule don't drop until I feel like September. But you see individual teams have been releasing their non-con schedules. We get a back-to-back game in Las Vegas to open the season. We get USC, Kansas State, and then I think the lead up to that is Oregon, Georgia. So curious what you think of those games. I mean, USC, Kansas State, we're going to see LeBronny James taking on Jerome Tang's bunch. I know you host the Big 12 Experience, so you can flex right now about how K-State's going to destroy USC.
Oh yeah, I'll be on the K-State Wildcats. I mean, they had another good portal class. They're very selective in what they do. Tyler Perry from North Texas and Kaluma from Creighton. They kind of fill what little man Noel and Keontae Johnson gave them. So I think the Cats are going to be good again. USC is going to be plenty covered this year with Bronny James.
Yeah. And then Oregon, Georgia, I thought had a decent first year under Mike Snow White. Maybe in Oregon, Altman. It's a big year for Dana Altman, I'm going to say, in Eugene this year. So that's the opening night of the season. I think there's some other decent games too. I know there's some mid-major matchups that, my eyes light up already when I see St. Thomas and Berkeley to take on Mark Madsen and Cal for the first game of the season. My eyes light up when I see Abilene Christian and Stillwater against Oklahoma State. And I go, remember I called Sam Houston State a year ago in Stillwater, and that worked out. So, we're going to have y'all covered though with each and every night and game of the season. But Auburn Baylor, the second night of the season at the Pentagon in South Dakota. It's a banger.
And expectations. I think Auburn is flying a little bit under the radar in the SEC. They got Broom back. You got Denver Jones coming over in the transfer portal. Interested to see what the Tigers do. And then Baylor, man, they kind of just reload. They got a new set of guards coming in. RJ Dennis and Jaden Nunn.
He's a stud. RJ Dennis is I like what they did in the portal. I know they lost Cryer, but still, I like what
Houston.
Brutal.
Big 12
Absolutely
guys.
Brutal. Other games throughout the first couple of days, we get Texas A&M at Ohio State. 4 games into the year, we get Memphis, as you alluded to. It's Rick Stansberry is going to be taking on Dennis Gates in Columbia, Missouri, in game 2 of the Memphis Tigers season, as they open up against Jackson State and then 3 days later play Missouri. Tennessee heading to Madison, Wisconsin. That should be a fun one. San Diego State at BYU. BYU's in the Big 12 now, so Mark Pope getting a chance to beat the runner-up. Imagine if they beat San Diego State in Provo. That would be okay. Welcome to the Big 12. Dayton at Northwestern, Arizona. How about Arizona at Duke? Third night of the season.
Yeah. Caleb Love goes back there. Hey, and to rewind on BYU, remember those days when they used to play in the Mountain West with Jimmer Fredette and Kawhi Leonard? They had some games, so a lot of history between those two. College basketball has really done a good job in recent years of loading up the beginning of the season.
Oh yeah, I think this year's even better than last year. I actually think 2 years ago was better than last year, but this year I think is probably better than them all. Florida, Virginia also taking on. You're going to schedule to play each other. Todd Golden year 2 against Tony Bennett. That should be interesting. So, and a bunch of these preseason tournaments are getting figured out now with their opponents. We have just a loaded basketball slate, folks. We will key in on it more as we get all of the schedules. And we start previewing conference by conference, but subscribe to the College Basketball Experience, folks. Remember, we're on Twitter at TCE on SGPN. Moneyline Mac here is on Twitter at Moneyline_Mac. I'm on Twitter at TheColbyD. Give us all a follow and subscribe. We're on YouTube, youtube.com/the college experience. Like I said, every single night of the season, we're here and we're going to break down every single conference, every single one. So I don't think anyone goes deeper than us. And if so, I would be ready for that Pepsi challenge. Let's go. But yeah, look, we are, so youtube.com/the college experience is the hub for all of our shows. Moneyline Mac, you'll hear him on the Big 12 Experience, right? I host the College Football Experience, the College Basketball Experience, what you're listening to, the FCS College Football Experience, the College Baseball Experience with Noah Beanick. So check out our YouTube channel because that's the hub for all of it. But all those podcasts are independent podcasts, so go search those. We're on iTunes, Spotify, wherever podcasts can be found. Also, get the SGPN app; it's free to download in the App Store and Google Play Store. And hop in the Discord and talk a little college hoops with us. sportsgamblingpodcast.com/Discord. All right, folks. Until the next episode, just a little off-season check-in. This is the College Basketball Experience. You better start thinking about yours, and we out of here.